Hello, welcome to our thought for the day. I'm really excited to talk to you today because it is Easter Sunday, the day that Christians all over the world celebrate the resurrection of our Saviour Jesus Christ. Today, we celebrate the fulfilment of God's plan to save his people. I don't know about you, but I make a lot of mistakes in this life. I can say horrible things, think spiteful thoughts, do cruel things, and sadly, those I love most are often the ones who get the worst of me. I try really hard to be good, but it's tough and I easily fail. This is part of our human condition. God recognised this in us. When he created us, he gave us free will. However, our free will drove us to pull away from God. So God had to devise a plan for us to return to him. This plan began with the amazing birth of baby Jesus to humble beginnings in Bethlehem. All of us are familiar with this story and will have fond memories of small children acting in their Christmas nativities. Angels with tinsel halos, shepherds with tea towel headdresses, and in the manger, the baby Jesus. However, the next part of God's plan is harder to accept. Jesus had been doing incredible ministry for 3 years, healing the sick and teaching so much about who God is and what he's like. But he was not the Messiah that people had been expecting. He did not overturn the Roman oppressors. He was not a great military leader. He spoke out against the religious leaders of the time, challenging their power and status, which led to their plot for his death. At this time, people made animal sacrifices to God to ask for forgiveness for their sins. In Jerusalem, at this time, thousands of people would have gathered to celebrate the Passover festival, when the sacrifice of an unblemished lamb saved them from death and slavery in Egypt. God's plan came into effect at this celebratory time. However, this time, the unblemished sacrifice was Jesus. He willingly gave up his life for each and every one of us, whether we believe in him yet or not. We know the story of Easter Friday, when Jesus was tried by his people and then by Pilate, the Roman leader, who found him innocent and wanted to free him. We know to our shame that we humans called for Jesus' death and we demanded crucifixion, the cruelest of executions. We thrust a crown of thorns upon his head. We whipped the skin from his back. We beat him. We spat in disrespect. We jeered. We nailed an innocent man to a cross and hung him to die there. I hang my head in shame when I think of what we did to our Saviour. But we forget that Jesus bore this cruelty willingly, so that God could turn human evil and spite into divine good. Even in the midst of the horror he suffered, Jesus called out for mercy and forgiveness for us. Such was his compassion for us. But in the joy of Easter, the joy of God's plan is that Jesus overcame death. His body was resurrected. He rose again. We celebrate that Jesus is risen, that he overcame death. We celebrate that he left an empty tomb and was seen on Easter morning by his female friends and then by many witnesses. At one point, over 500 people saw Jesus in one time at the same place. His dear disciple Thomas placed his fingers in the holes made by the nails in Jesus' hands and where he was pierced in the side by a sword. So why do we celebrate this impossible thing that through the power of God became possible? We celebrate Easter because God's plan was fulfilled through Jesus. Jesus became the link between us and God. Jesus chose to take all of humanity's sin upon him on the cross. He was the unblemished sacrifice for me and for you. Through belief and trust in Jesus and choosing to follow him, we are reconnected with God. Through loving God, we get a fresh start, a new life filled with hope. When we love God, we become aware of all of our mistakes and the things that we do, say, and think that are cruel. Our remorse can turn to hope because Jesus won us God's forgiveness. Jesus' sacrifice was a gift to us to offer us a new life in relationship with God. God can do the impossible. Jesus willingly died for each and every one of us. He is a king who chose to wear a crown of thorns and chose a wooden cross as his throne. The Christmas story touches our hearts, but it is the Easter story that changes them. The joy this Easter is that you, yes, you, are so loved by God that he devised a rescue plan just so that he could have a loving relationship with you. So, will you welcome him into your life this Easter? Will you make Jesus your King of Kings? You are chosen. You are loved. And you are offered a new life filled with hope and without fear this Easter. Do you accept the gift Jesus offers to you? Thank you for watching. Happy Easter. May God bless you and those you love today and every day. Bye-bye.